Happy Halloween, everybody. My name is Eric. This is the Arcane table, and welcome to the build. For the month of October, I've made these really cool skull towers. Very simple, very quick, and everything's on the cheap. Bought everything here for the most part at the dollar store. So if you're looking for materials, no problem. If you're looking for a quick build, no problem. If you're looking for something super cool for the Halloween-esque feel, no problem. This is it. This is the build, the skull towers. I hope you enjoy. Here we go. All these things purchased from the dollar store. These three bases were a couple dollars. The skulls, Halloween, you can't turn this stuff away. Just pick up a couple bags, a larger size and a smaller size. I decided to go with the larger one. The jaw on this one is hinged, just simply pops off. Top of the skull, perfect. What I'm going to do, once again, blades are sharp. Please be careful. This guy had some tough spots, so just got to work your way through it slowly. If you have gloves of some sort, please use it. There we go. Separated the front half from the back half of the skull. And with the jaw, just simply clipped off these ends with my clippers. And that will be easier to kind of force into the foam later on so it can set. This is just excess. This is extra foam from previous project. I believe it was 2x2. And so this, once again, this is just a kind of a throwaway, use up what you got project. Anything will do. I didn't bother measuring. I just cut it simply by eye. Yep, skull fits fine. Once again, just trimming it appropriately. No rulers, no nothing, no proxon. Just getting the blade in there. With a sharp blade, it kind of cuts better through this thicker foam. And once again, be careful. Scraps. These are all previous scraps, cut-offs from previous projects. All I did is I took my 2x2 inch foam, hot glued the base, set a little bias to the back of this base, make sure that the glue is dry, and then just started putting pieces on. No rhyme or reason, just getting it on. I just wanted a nice, awkward looking base for this skull. Now that's all set, I'm just kind of trimming it off, making a good base, a good spot for my larger of the two skulls. Here I'm just taking my carving tool and kind of tracing an outline. Granted, it's not going to be perfect, but that's why you're doing an outline. Once you have that, you can take your carving tool or just a blade or something dull and start digging that out. This process takes 3 or 4 attempts to get the skull to kind of really fit in correctly. Don't be afraid of grabbing big chunks of this foam. Once again, all that interior stuff's going to be hidden by the skull. You really can't see past it. Not a big deal. Once it fits, looks good. I'm going to measure up the lower jaw. This is just going to get jammed in off to the side. So just taking out 2 chunks, and I'll be slamming that in. It should fit perfectly in later on with glue. Once I have that front skull kind of set in place, just simply trimming off some of the larger chunks on the top, being mindful that I do want this to be a playable surface for figs, for minis, so you do want some flat surfaces on it still. Here we go, the smaller of the 2 skulls for the back side, same thing as the front. Just making an outline around the smaller skull, fairly straightforward. There you go. Taking my digging tool, digging side of the carving, and just scooping it out. Get all that excess out, remove it all. Once it fits in, generous amount of hot glue around the perimeter. I wouldn't go so much into the interior of that cavity. The skull is hollow. It's not going to connect. It's not going to bond with anything. So just a really generous amount around the perimeter to hold that skull in should do. And the same with the one on the front. Just going around. And once again, hot glue is hot. I don't need to tell you that. Please be careful. Nobody likes 3rd-degree burns. So I haven't glued in the lower jaw yet. I wanted to texture everything beforehand. Well, not everything, but at least the rock portions of it. And so I'm just going through with my carving tool, kind of notching out, kind of digging out some of those stoned areas, and really just giving it a really kind of gritty, hard, kind of edged look. Once I was happy with that, a couple beads of hot glue, and in that mandible jaw goes. Get in there, you. Once that was done, I just continued around the skulls, kind of digging it out, giving it like a really chiseled, earthy look, and until I was happy. Glue. Don't mess around. Go and buy a big bottle. You can buy smaller ones, but you go through it pretty quickly, then the price adds up. Buy a big bottle, you'll get your money's worth out of it. Once again, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just simply laying on bricks. All these bricks are from previous projects. You can see they're just all kinds of different shapes. Hold on to this stuff. You never know when it's going to come in handy, and you put in all that work to cut them out. Why throw them out? There's some bricks, there's some planks. Just lay it on. Get them on there. There's no rhyme or reason. Even these small ones, I have no clue where they're from. There's just a couple there in the pile. Just throw them on. I almost see this almost like a construction that somebody or something started and then just gave up halfway. You can see how thick that glue is. Don't worry. It's going to dry. It's going to dry clear. And it's going to dry hard. There you go. Overnight, that thing is solid. It's good to go. Spackle. What a fun word, spackle. I've had this jar for some time. It's getting a little crusty on the sides. So rather than throwing that out, just dig in there and get that stuff off. The stuff on the bottom is a little better, so I'll use that for another project. Just add a little bit of water, to kind of get that moisture back in there. Don't add too much water because then you're just kind of finding the right balance of spackle versus, liquid. A popsicle stick for stirring. Throw in some rocks. Once again, gravel from the dollar store, nothing fancy. And then just mix it in. You kind of want it to be the consistency of like porridge or oatmeal. It goes on pink, and it's done drying when it's white. So like I said, I really want to just get this organic kind of blending of the stone, the brick, and the skull. So I just went all over the place, working into all those nooks and crannies, all those little crevices. It's on the brick, it's on the skull, it's on the stone. You can see what a mess. Once it's dry, it dries white, and it dries pretty hard. Mod Podge. This is the one place where I don't cheap out, especially when working with Spackle. I find Spackle can be awfully brittle, and so if you don't kind of seal it in, you've got broken pieces that can pop off, and then you got that white kind of undertone. It doesn't look so good. And plus, it helps kind of toughen up the foam. So I go really thick with Mod Podge and giving it the full night to dry. Once that's done, I just made up a mixture of light gray, once again with dollar store white and black, just in a Tupperware container, all done by eye, and just kind of splotching it on. You don't have to get 100% of the black because you want that kind of layering of color. So once you're done with the gray and it's dried, just add a little more black to your mixture, and then you've got a nice mid-tone. Once again, just splotching it on, almost like camouflage. You can still see a lot of the light tones beneath the mid-tone. And you guessed it, a little more black into that paint. Now we're going with our dark tone. You really just want to splotch it on, adds to that layer, that kind of effect of depth. In nature, nothing really is just one solid color. So you don't want to go just straight up, black or straight up gray. Time for some color. This is just like some satin kind of beige that, meant to do that. Not a big deal. There is no one color in nature where one item is just like green or brown. Everything has different tones to it. So if you do mess up like that, not a big deal. Just leave it, paint over it, or once it's dried, just start over. Not a big deal. With this, I'm just going over and randomly painting a couple bricks. Then I'm also painting all the bone, the skull in the front, the skull in the back, and that lower jaw. This is all a base coat. You can see how splotchy it is. Doesn't look so good now, but it will. I've gone and mixed up some white and some brown, a whole bunch of white, a couple drops of brown to give it more of a bone color. Going over all the skulls thoroughly, once again, looking for coverage. I also went ahead and painted the brown and red bricks as well. You didn't necessarily need to see that on camera. You know what you're doing. Once that's dry, heavy white. This isn't necessarily a white dry brush, for highlighting. You can see how heavy I'm going on. I'm going to give this a black wash like nobody's business, so I really want that white to show. And I'm also just dabbing in straight white on these skulls just to add that layering of color once again. Here we go. Here's the wash. Black paint and lots of water. Make sure it's runny. Just lay it on. You really can't go wrong with this. Well, you can go wrong if you do it over the carpet. Make sure you have a drop cloth of some sort. This is just a piece of foam from the dollar store. Use it 3 or 4 times. Once it's done, throw it out. Now that that's all dry, you can really see how aged this thing has become. Flocking. You don't necessarily need this step, but I've got it, so I'm going to do it. Big old bottle of glue from Walmart to the dollar store, get it into some of those nooks and crannies, not too many, and then just lay it on thick. I've had this flocking for some time. I didn't want to use green because green is more of a lively, color. This is supposed to be something that's decayed and forgotten about. So I went with this kind of yellow grass or yellow hay. It's kind of long and scraggly. Once again, kind of forgotten, disheveled. So I figured that would be a better fit than green. Get it in there, flip it upside down, knock off all the loose stuff. You're good to go. I happen to have just enough tufts to give each of these towers 5 or 6 each. So all you do is a bead of glue, nice, messy, and just place it on there. Spread them around, make it look good. Nothing fancy. Hold on to this. There's nothing wrong with that flocking. Open up your bag, do it over a Tupperware container. It's so much easier for cleanup. Seal it up, use it for next time. Fresh. Now this is just a spritz bottle from the dollar store down the cosmetic aisle. You can see how thick it's going on. About 30% glue, 70% water. And you just want to go over and give everything a really good spritz of this glue mixture. It will lock all the flocking in place. And once it's dry or dries transparent, you'll never know. Looks good. Maybe. 1, how did your skull get so big? And 2, how did it get stuck in stone? A real Scooby-Doo mystery. That was the build, everybody. Skull Towers. I hope you like what you saw. Truthfully, these builds are a lot of fun and they're easy to do. Plus, they do very well on the channel. People like watching them. I like making them. So, if you have any other ideas, concepts that you haven't seen on YouTube before, throw them my way. I'm pretty creative with coming up with things. I'm sure I can make it. And once again, probably make it on the sly. This is the Arcane table. This is the build. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Every little bit helps. My name is Eric. And remember, you're always welcome at the table. Yeah, it's a cool little build. We raise money for the Extra Life Children's Hospital. We're hoping that... too much, Eric, too much. Happy Halloween, everybody. My name is Eric, and this is the Arc. Okay. Quick and easy, Eric. Simple, simple, simple. In and out, Eric. It's all 3. Okay. Too complicated. Okay, last one.